Chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back, yes. Oh, episode 284. Pull your 284 jerseys out. I'm back home. That's Randy Moss. No, actually, it's 84. Oh, it doesn't matter. I am your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., etc., etc. And all the way in Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Paul Volt, Shield. What's going on there, Shield?
You know, the true way to get yourself rested and recuperated from a hectic night of softball, and the body doesn't really recover all that well once you get past the age of 30, and me still trying to be somewhat of an athlete. Two things: heat and ice. I got the heating pad on right now, and I got the ice, an ice cold Coors latte. So there we go. We're gonna enjoy one of those on top of it. So heat and ice, folks, but looking forward to another great show.
Me as well. Yes, we have a great show tonight, nonetheless. Yes, the rumors are true. Hot off the presses, breaking news today, actually. Let's just do this the right way, I guess.
Do it properly.
Where's our surrounder? There it is. Cole Munson's back on the show, yes.
Hey-o.
Claps out. Yes, he is back on the show, and not how you think, unfortunately. We just recorded a segment with Money Munson. Yes, there's Alex. Oh, okay, where's Money? The stream has started. No Money Munson.
Yeah.
Don't worry. We have a recorded segment ready to go, ready to give out to you guys. Probably after we're done talking a little wild. Obviously, the game's starting up here, I don't know, a couple minutes or so. But we'll keep you up to date, give you live updates and everything like that. If you're watching us and watching the Wild at the same time, hey, props out to you. Send us photos, too. That'd be kind of cool. So, yeah, Money Munson is going to be on. We're talking a lot of Wolves after we talk the Wild for Tater Tot Hot Take tonight. there's a lot to unpack with the Wolves. Unfortunately, they are down 3-2 after losing yesterday to the Spurs. The Wild are down 3-1. And they playing like in a couple minutes here, and it's kind of sad in the state of Minnesota right now. But you know what? We're down, but we are not out. That is the big thing here. And look at this, Money Munson, the people's champion. I highly doubt that. I'm just saying. Just saying. So, anywho. That's what we got for that. So no special segment tonight since we have a lot to discuss with Cole Munson. But we have a stacked ARA. Voldy has got some nice ARAs tonight. The Bucks are looking to trade Giannis. Where to? That's the big question. We don't know. That is going to be a fun and interesting situation. So we'll see how that pans out. 5 to 7 teams to be bowl eligible now. What's that gonna look like? NCAA, college football. What's going on there? Do not know. We'll see how that pans out. There's a lot to don't even want to think about it. Next one, the NFL International Games. Big news today. Vikings are actually playing in Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. And they're going to take on the Niners, and there's some other games that we'll take a look at as well. Can't wait to discuss that. And then, let's see, we got... Oh, come on. There we go. The NFL players, they want the grass fields. We've talked about this numerous times on the show and whatnot, so looking forward to discussing that as well. And the PWHL is expanding. There are going to be more teams, more fun, which will be discussed as well. And then we got some Shield shoutouts to get to tonight, people. We got them Shield shoutouts, so we are looking forward to that later on. But right now, it's time for some Tater Tot Hot Take. We got to get to these Wild. Whether good, whether bad, the thing is you know, it's do or die tonight. It's do or die tonight for the Minnesota Wild. Their season is on the line. So, but without further ado, let's get it going with some Tater Tot Hot Take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
It is time for Tater Tot Hot Take. First Hot Take live. Second, with the Wolves, will be recorded with our guy, Money Munson, Alex's guy, to say the least. But we start off tonight, obviously, with the Minnesota Wild. The Minnesota Wild are on the brink of elimination. Yes, unfortunately. Voldy and I watched the game on Monday night, and we were... It was sad. It was very sad. It was almost kind of like they just don't. I don't know if they have anything left. I don't know if there's anything they can do. Brodeen's out. You got Eck out. Yeah, we haven't gotten any update on that, right? There's X for sure. Dunzo. No. So, not good. Bogosian out. So. It's not looking great, but you know what? Stranger things have happened. You never know. I'm throwing that out there. I'm not saying what people think I'm going to say here, but there's the Avs are really, really good. that's really all I can put it as. They're a really, really good team. You saw that in that game, that loss. Even though the score says 5-2, it was close all game. I mean, it was 3-2.
They had the two empty netters. So,
two empty netters.
It was literally,
exactly.
it was a 3-2 game.
So, Voldy, I ask this of you. We'll just start it off right away since Game 5's literally they're already doing the national anthem. So, Voldy, is it over? Is the season going to be over tonight, or do you think it'll be? We're going back to St. Paul. and giving this another shot. What do you got?
I mean, I think there's always a chance. There's always a chance that, they could come back for sure. It's always about, and we've seen it in this series, which goaltender can make that one extra save. I mean, if we saw anything from game one when it was 9-6, it's not going to be about how many, it's not going to be about shutouts and one goal victories. It's about which goaltender can make the most saves at the end of the day. And we've seen all four goaltenders in the mix here. We've seen Wallstead, we've seen Gustafson, we've seen Wedgwood, we've seen Blackwood on top of it too for Colorado. And the lack of, I wouldn't say there hasn't been a lack of effort to each side, but it's just been about which goalie has been able to make that extra save. And also on top of it is you see how the Avalanche have been able to get a lot more opportunities scoring with their depth. And that's one thing you look at here, because obviously in that game the other night, it wasn't, a game on Monday, I should say. It wasn't just purely, McKinnon, Landeskog, those guys at the top, Natchez,
Right.
those guys. It wasn't purely all those guys. No, they got their points here and there, but it's looking at guys like, further down the lineup too, that have really made an impact for them. Maybe not always on the stat sheet, but that time it did show up on the stat sheet. The way the Wild have been built this year, and especially the guys that they have picked up, and now those guys that have been key factors, sadly, the injury bug is starting to mount up. And where the Avalanche are at, it's about being able to fight through, of course, said bumps and bruises, maybe some injuries that are going on, and continuing to put together a good enough lineup each and every night. Let it be said that Colorado, is ultimately, I look at this matchup right now with each team and how the series has ended up. Colorado's the more complete team right now in my mind. A good enough goaltender and strong enough scoring, that complete scoring as well, all four lines, all 6D as well. If they can get scoring and an okay goaltender, you can ride that all the way through the playoffs. And I said from the very start of this, of this series too, Colorado wins this series, especially when they're up 2-0. They win this series, they're going to win the Stanley Cup. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And just now the fact that the Wild are kind of obviously in desperation mode, but haven't seen the full true potential of their team, given the fact that Brodin's been out. Joel Eriksson Ek has been out pretty much the whole series, if not the whole series. Now you lose Bogosian, apparently. He's not playing tonight. He took a bit of a hit there in the last game too. Now we're starting to see the team kind of fall apart. And unfortunately, now when you've got a makeshift team and a makeshift lineup compared to what a true lineup and a full complete team looks like, you're going to be hurting for sure. And ultimately, too, you look at another thing, got to stay out of the penalty box, and you got to score on the power play. Wild haven't done that. Colorado's been able to do that. Success on the penalty kill and ultimately on the power play. That has been a huge factor this series, too. So Wild are definitely up a hill without a paddle, and it's definitely going to be quite the game here tonight out in Denver.
Well, you're not wrong for sure on all of that. I mean, the thing is what I've noticed, and I think we kind of noticed this in game 1 and 2, Voldy, that when Colorado kicks it into high gear like they do, they're hard to stop. I mean, you gotta admit, you gotta admit it, and we do, but. The one thing that I've noticed with Colorado, and this isn't something that I just think the Wild need to do consistently, is you got to hit these guys. When they won that game, they were nailing the McKinnons, the guys that are usually down scoring the goals. I mean, they were working their asses off to make sure, hey, we're gonna hit you and we're gonna be out physical you, and that's what happened. That is what needs to happen tonight. They need to be physical, and if they can't get it done, they're I mean, it's over. I mean, it's going to be over in Colorado. Mm-hmm. I think that it's going to be a close game tonight. I think, from my standpoint, it's going to be a close one. I hope the Wild extend the series. I'd like to see them play back in St. Paul.
Absolutely.
And the crowd there is fantastic again. And shout out to all the people that saw that reel that we posted with Infinity rankings. A lot of people tuned in on that. So if you guys haven't seen it, I shout out the Minnesota sports fans and everything like that. Make sure. So thank you to everyone that saw that. It was a really cool thing to see. So, but we love our sports here, man. I mean, it's that simple. Alex has got a couple things, and let's see what we got. Hughes shouldn't play over 30 minutes a game. Yeah, that's. But the thing about that is, and it's not a knock to say the least, but they just after Hughesy and Faber their line, and then after that it gets a little bit thin because there's no Brodeen, there's no, I know that I know X not a defender, but again this. We got to make sure Hughes, because he's getting nailed out there. I've seen a couple times where they're just targeting him like crazy. But, man, he is smooth. I mean, he is quick. He's smooth. He's so damn good. While the game is starting, good luck. All good vibes. Wow. I thought you were going to say, are you guys ready?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and roll that breaking news sounder real quick for us?
Oh, yeah. Hold on. Voldy, there we go. Go ahead.
Not even 30 seconds into period 1 of game 5. Game 5. Minnesota Wild up 1-0.
Hey, let's go!
Get the scoring going for the boys. Love it. Gotta have it.
Do I have a rally towel or something? No, I don't. Okay. Well, hey, you know what? That's how we got it.
Hot start.
That's a hot start. You never know. Like I said, if you come out and you punch them right in the mouth, we'll see if they can take it. So it's a great start. It's a great start. We love it. Thank you for putting that out there. Let's see if I can. Oh yeah, I saw it briefly. I do have the game on and whatnot. So Voldy, keep us posted on that. But where was I? Shoot, I can't even remember. Sound the intermission music. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, like Alex said here too. I mean, the game is starting. Good luck, all good vibes. It's kind of interesting because he's the Denver guy. He loves his Denver sports and whatnot. I thought he'd be saying like, "Are you ready for your season to end, losers?" or something, and just get on our nerves a little bit. So. Voldy, before we move on to Money Munson, because I know that's what people have been waiting for and whatnot.
I wouldn't say people, one guy. One
guy. Yeah, that's true.
Saying, one guy.
Voldy, do you think this, if it doesn't end tonight, is it going to end for the Wild? In St. Paul, Game 7, I mean, what do you think? Have you changed your thoughts on it? What do you got?
I mean, I could definitely see it going to 7 games, for sure. The thing is, the Wild have to play absolutely perfect these next 2 games. And obviously getting a good start here in Game 5 is absolutely huge and paramount. Wallstead has got to play out of his mind these next 2 games to force the Game 7, which would be in... which would be in Denver, most like I would believe. So, yeah, because it goes 2-2, 1-1-1-1, as opposed to the old-fashioned 2-3-2 when it comes to playoff, home versus away. I would like to think that we'd get it to 7, but, boy, we win tonight and we come back home, man, we cannot lay an egg, on home ice for sure. And that's what we kind of did. We kind of did a little bit there at least in the back half of the third period for Game 4. But you got to steal one of these games on the road for sure to get to obviously a Game 7. So yeah, I think it's possible, but Denver's a tough place to play, and especially that rowdy crowd. I mean, they've been hungry. I mean, they won the Stanley Cup 4 years ago, but still, they are a hungry and they are a raucous crowd for sure. So it's gonna be tough out there, but we're off to a good start.
You know what I've noticed though? I'm glad you brought that up because what I've noticed is that Wild fans travel well, and especially going to Colorado. I heard some chants. I think it was, either Game 1 or 2. You heard the Let's Go Wild chants, and I'm just like, dang, man. You know, that's great. Let's make it our arena. How do you like that, Alex?
I'm sure it's beautiful out there this time of year, too, for sure.
Yeah,
there's a few people out in the Denver area that I know, or at least some that are Colorado natives or maybe former Minnesota transplants, if you will. So,
yeah. That's good. I like that. Like I said, I think, Denver's that is a bucket list thing. I do want to, check out Denver at some point. But I know there's a lot of people that really don't like Minnesota over in Denver for some odd reason. What do we do to you guys? Oh, we beat the Nuggets. That's literally what's happening here. I mean,
well,
whatever.
Who? Get over yourself.
Oh, you'll beat us in this series. Okay, good for you. You guys are literally the best team in the league, and the Wild are like nipping at your heels. Why are we playing in the second freaking round when we could be playing in the conference finals or something? Good
Bingo.
Lord.
Seriously.
Thank you, Gary Bettman. You clown.
You're playing Anaheim right now.
Yeah.
That's
it's a very good point. That's a very good point, Voldy. I really do. But I agree with the notion. I think we said this last week, but to reiterate what you said, whoever wins this series, and I think Alex even said it too, whoever wins the series is going to win the Stanley Cup. It is kind of where we're going here. So I know the Hurricanes look good on the East and whatnot, but
but it's the Hurricanes, man. They do
I
this
know
every year. They just get this great march, and by the time they get to the finals, they just lay an absolute egg. But no Panthers this year. They got Tampa's out of the mix too. So
how about that? No Tampa, Voldy.
Yeah, I'll be happy. No Panthers either. Thank God for that.
Yeah, there you go.
I have to live with that crap for another year. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Good. All right, well, we will, looks like the Avs are trying to get to Wally here, but it looks like he's holding firm, the Great Wall of St. Paul. Just do your best at this point, just see what happens here. So, still 1-0. As an update, we will keep you posted, and if there is a goal, look in our chats, and both chats, the Shorts chat, the desktop chat, and yes, we are still on Facebook right now, but for how long, I don't know.
Hey-o!
We'll see. So, all right. Let's get to Money Munson here. We talked a lot about the game last night. The Wolves lose 102 to 97. And just kind of talked about, the Wemby elbow thing as well. He wanted to talk about Julius Randle a little bit and Ayo Dosunmu, see where things might end up in the offseason. Just kind of a little preview of that. So, without further ado, here is our segment with Cole Munson. Enjoy. And we are back on MinneZona Sports Live. You called for it, people. You wanted it to happen. You were hoping it would happen. And yes, Alex, I'm talking to you. It finally happened. Money Munson is back on the MinneZona Sports Live. Welcome back, Cole. Yes, we did miss you. I'm not gonna lie. We did miss having Money Munson back here on this. Well,
what can I say? This is a very missable face.
Awfully presumptive.
You gotta love the face. The beard.
Well, I will certainly say I didn't believe Munson was going to come on until I actually saw it, and now it's actually here, so now I can actually believe it. So, glad he's back on the program.
I am too, because look, the Wolves are in the playoffs. We got to talk about all this stuff, man. I mean, this playoffs. I mean, this is the epitome of what the Wolves. This is like the 5th straight time the Wolves have made the playoffs. We got to talk about it. So let's talk about what happened last night, gentlemen. The Minnesota Timberwolves fall to the San Antonio Spurs, 126-97. A lot to unpack here. This was a game that was going to be tough from the get-go. I mean, San Antonio is a really good team. So are the Wolves. A lot of frustrating games played by a lot of the players for the Timberwolves. A lot of missed shots. I mean, basically, all I got to ask you right away, Cole, is what are your thoughts here on Game 5? And, I mean, can they turn this thing around at Target Center and extend the series? What do you got?
Based on what I saw last night, I'm not very confident. I think they could sneak out a win in Game 6 with the home court advantage and with some of the things that kind of come with that. I think you can maybe squeak out a Game 6 here, but I think no matter what, even if you do, we've seen in San Antonio when that San Antonio team is going, we really struggle. So I think this is probably going to end up with the Wolves being the last series of the playoffs for them. That being said, I mean, I'm hoping that they can extend it, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. Because we got a rematch with OKC waiting for us on the back end if we can make it through.
Well, and that's the true question, right? I mean, can the Wolves overcome another series where now that they're trailing? I mean, we saw that with the Nuggets in 2024. Wolves won 2, Nuggets won 3 straight. We all thought it was over. Wasn't over by a long shot. I'm not saying this is going to be the same thing, but you never know. I mean, this team, like I've said before, this team can beat anybody and they can lose to anybody. I mean, good Lord, this team is just so up and down. But so Voldy, what were your thoughts on Game 5? What stood out to you?
Yeah, just you look at how things really delved from Game 5. It just kind of felt like the Wolves were kind of a step behind San Antonio the whole time. Of course, riding the high off the the previous contest to at least get to a game, get to Game 5 from that point, as they were facing, of course, such a tough situation there, being down 2. You come back home, you lose, you win Game 3, you take Game 4, and then it just kind of seemed like the air got let out a little bit. They got down fairly big, of course, going into halftime, or at least it was a significant deficit. But then they came back, started knocking down a couple shots here and there. But from that point, probably late third quarter, San Antonio just kind of turned things around. I think maybe just overall, just looking at how maybe from the department of maybe just secondary opportunities, didn't really get good chances overall with second chance points in that regard. Of course, when you face a 18-foot giant in Wemby, of course, he's going to be cleaning up the glass significantly, but, getting those first shots didn't really help all that well for the team there. And, San Antonio took advantage and had that, again, home court advantage is the big thing in this series that we've seen so far.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of it kind of has to do with some of the play from our starters. We'll get into this, trust me, Cole, in a second. But Julius Randle, 17 points, 6 of 17 shooting, 0 for 4 from 3, 10 rebounds. Just not good. Not good from him. Jaden McDaniels, he had 17, 6 of 13, 3 of 7 from 3, which isn't terrible by any means, but there were a lot of bad games from players that you're usually that you can usually count on, and I think that's kind of what it came down to here. So, you go into this game 6, you're at home, the crowd's going to be rocking. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be at this game nonetheless. I mean, people haven't given up hope or anything like that. But let's backtrack here for a second, because we weren't on when this happened, but we all saw the elbow that Wemby had against our tribal chief, acknowledged tribal chief, Naz Reid. It's one of those things where we're very, very sitting back thinking, why did he do that? Like, what caused Wemby to get so pissed off that he decided, I'm going to elbow somebody in the face? First of all, dumbass move to do that to our guy Naz Reid. Second of all, it was a dirty play, and I'm glad they kicked him out of the game for that. As you saw on the replay, he very much did try to hurt Naz Reid, and we saw how that all turned out. Cole, I know after that all happened too, we sent some messages back and forth. We kind of knew NBA is not going to suspend him. There's no way. They didn't even fine him. They didn't do any of that. They just said, no, he's good for the next game. It was just kind of how it was. What are your thoughts on that decision in general by the NBA to say, he already served it by elbowing Naz in the game and getting kicked out? What do you think?
I understand not the suspension. You're the NBA. You're trying to make this a worthwhile watching series. I mean, it's not fair, but life ain't fair. So, they're going to do what's best for them. Having Wemby on the court, so you can advertise Wemby is in the best interest of their sport. So, we both knew he was not going to get suspended. But to not even fine him is crazy.
Right.
To not even give him a fine is nuts. Just Jokic and Randall, the other series. No punches thrown, no elbows thrown, nothing. And they got a fine. I mean, that's nuts. That's nuts. For some pushing and shoving, they got a fine. But for a premeditated elbow to the chin, MMA style, you get nothing.
Right.
That is insane. Insane. Yeah. Now,
I agree.
If you want to set aside the fact that the NBA is going to do what's best for the NBA, if you remember back, Ron Artest put an elbow on James Harden. This is probably about 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Showing my age a little bit.
I remember.
He put an elbow right on James Harden, got suspended for 7 games. Then you also have Hassan Whiteside, just like probably about, 5, 6, 7 years back, whatever it was, with a even lesser elbow than that. Real nice, Sat. With an even little lesser elbow than that,
right.
He got a game suspension. So you've set the precedent there. We knew it wasn't going to happen. Doesn't mean that it shouldn't have happened. So I'm not a huge fan of how it went down. Thought there should at least be a fine.
Yeah.
And possibly a suspension, but it is what it is.
I want to add to that, even though we think that, the NBA doesn't think that, because here's what I think with the NBA real quick. They don't want a star player to be out in that series. They refuse to have that happen because they can't risk the product, people not watching, because it's like, well, I'm not going to watch this crap and whatnot. But the Wolves found out in Game 4 that this team is good even without Wemby. I mean, I got to give them some flowers. They've got some good players on it. I said to you at one point, after Wemby, who do they really have? Well, they have Castle. They have what's his name? Fox and all these other guys. And they've played really well. I got to give them some credit. I mean, I didn't think that, and they proved to the Wolves, like, you got to work for this to win. And they did. And Ant went off and whatnot. So, I know we talked about that. And but no, I agree with you. I think the NBA only cares about the money. They want their star players out there, but not doing a fine, that is a big problem, and I believe that people have called them out on that. The comments from Mitch Johnson, the coach, I thought was pretty tasteless, to be quite honest. I thought that wasn't cool. He's like, oh, I'm glad he's all right, but but that's but he was sticking up for himself. It's like if you can't withstand physicality, then you shouldn't be playing in the NBA. This NBA has gotten really soft. We're not getting into the flopping thing. Trust me, we're not going to do that. But Voldy, what are your thoughts on this whole situation? And I mean, do you think that Wemby's kind of bitching about pretty much nothing? I mean, it's just how the NBA is. The Wolves are a tough defensive team.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one way of looking at it for sure, especially with, how he has been kind of held down by not only a perennial defensive player of the year, but a fellow countryman in Rudy Gobert, a.k.a. the Stifle Tower, if you will. Shout out to Chris Webber, who actually has been throwing that nickname out there if those that haven't heard it quite yet. But he has been, kind of a thorn in the side for Wemby pretty much the whole series, especially in what was it, game 4, game 3 as well, where, he wasn't getting a lot of opportunities. And, come around game 4, he just finally had enough. And I think he kind of snapped of him being, of course, still that young player, still not quite mature enough to, know that these guys are going to try to find ways to get under your skin and try to take you off your game. And lo and behold, that's when it happened. And it kind of came to a fever pitch. And now maybe we start to see a few more cracks in that armor, that Wemby does have. And, I think at this point, the Timberwolves definitely should probably try to lean into that a little bit more, but it didn't work, of course, on the road here in game 5. But maybe game 6, you get you get the home fans on your side, might try to ruffle a few more feathers to see if that will try to come through and see which Wemby decides to come out and play in there in game 6.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up because that's what they were trying. They're trying to get him rattled again, and he actually didn't take the bait, which is actually a smart move by him, which I'll give him that. But I look at that specifically, and this was kind of a teaching moment for him. Like, you can't be doing this type of thing, and it's like, well, it's his first offense and everything like that. I don't care. You saw what he was trying to do, and like I told Munson, it was a bitch move. It was a bitch move by Wemby. So hopefully he kind of understands that going forward here. So Munson, let's quick talk about the upcoming games here. Okay. As of right now, if you were to predict Game 6, do you see the Wolves extending this 7 games, or do you think this ends at the Target Center coming up here? What do you think?
Let me clarify. I hope I'm wrong, but I think we probably lose here this one too. It seems like the Spurs have kind of figured something out with us. Just clarify. Hey, don't boo me yet. Don't boo me yet. I think the Spurs have figured something out here, and I'm really nervous about how we're going to be able to defend down the line. Offensively, we have really struggled, like really, really struggled to get it going. And we're running short on guys with the Dante injury. I really haven't seen Bones in this series at all. I don't know what's going on there. We are begging for some offense, and we can't get anything. I think we cracked 100 once in this entire series, maybe twice.
Have to look here.
With Wemby on the court, it is so difficult if you can't hit outside shots, and we are not outside of Ant. We are not a great 3-point shooting team. And it is a really uphill battle, especially when they're sending double teams at Ant the entire game, and we can't seem to break a 4-on-3 and get a good shot.
Well, which begs the question, too. I mean, well, not begs the question, but I think they're missing Dante DiVincenzo a lot right now. I think that's a key piece that is definitely something to consider here. Him being out has hurt kind of the 3-point games and whatnot. So, well, Cole, I can't fully blame you for feeling that way looking into this Game 6, because I was watching that game too, and I'm just like, I don't know how they can overcome this whole thing. But we've seen stranger things happen. No pun intended, by the way. The other question, and you wanted to talk about this, and since we have a little time here, Julius Randle. I can't even defend Julius Randle at this point. Has Julius Randle done good things for the Timberwolves? Yes. This series has proven a lot to me. And what it has proven is that he is not a reliable number 2. We said this last postseason, too. We said he's got to be consistent with it. He had his moments. This playoffs, not the case. Not the case. Going into double teams and losing the ball and hoping that there's a foul. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. So, Cole, I'll let you talk about the whole Julius Randle thing. Do you think Julius Randle is going to be a Wolf by in next year, or do you think he's out? What do you got?
I have a better chance of growing a full head of hair than Julius Randle has being on the Timberwolves. No shot. So
Explain.
let me break this down here real quick. So I pulled some numbers up for this show just so I could kind of highlight just how bad offensively he's been. In the Denver series, to his credit, he averaged 19 points a game. But the problem is it took him 16 and a half shots per game to do that. He shot 30% from the three-point line and only 46.2% on effective field goal percentage. That is coming from a power forward that's supposed to be getting shots inside the paint and getting good buckets. 46.2% is awful. For reference, he shot 52.6% in the regular season. That's a 6% drop in that playoff series alone against a heavy lack of rim protection with Nikola Jokic out there and Valanciunas as his backup. There's very little rim protection that he'd have to go through, and that's his whole thing. Now, this series, he's averaging 14.8 points on 14 shots. 15 points on 14 shots. That's horrible efficiency. He's shooting 21% from the three-point line. 21%. How do you shoot 21% from the three-point line? That's insane. And his effective field goal percent is below 40%. It's 39%. That is unacceptable for a number two option on a championship level team, which is what the Timberwolves are trying to be. You cannot have your number 2 option on offense being that inefficient and that unreliable. He needs to go. You need to find a different option in that spot. You need to field offers this offseason for Julius Randle. There's got to be somebody out there that can fit better. You need to space the floor better. You need to provide Ant more space to work.
Yeah.
Finding a nice, even just a really good 3-and-D power forward, and you can slot him in at that spot rather than Julius Randle trying to bully ball through. Imagine Anthony Edwards with space in this offense, being able to get downhill. Imagine Terrence Shannon Jr. coming in and being able to get downhill without a 7-foot monster sitting there waiting on him. Right now, we're starting 3 people that shoot poorly from the outside that you would possibly game plan around letting them shoot 3-pointers. You're starting Jaden McDaniels. Great for the mid-range. You don't want him shooting threes. You're starting Julius Randle, who I just talked to you about, can't hit threes. And if you're thinking this is just a playoff problem, he shot 31.5% in the regular season. He wasn't hitting them then either. And you're starting Rudy Gobert, who you don't want shooting the ball outside about 3 feet. So at some point this offseason, you are going to need to find a new home for Julius Randle. You are going to need to find a place to send him, whether you want to try and send him to Cleveland, and maybe we talk about a larger Mobley trade, whether you try and get, the Lakers on the line. Maybe the Lakers will take him. Maybe, the Hornets will take him. Find somebody to take him, get a decent haul for him. It doesn't need to be anything crazy, but get some more workable pieces that meld with this team better, because he just doesn't.
I agree. I'll keep mine brief because I do want to get to your IO thing here too. I think this has proven that this isn't working. This has kind of solidified that. The question is, and I'm curious to see how this turns out. Finch likes him a lot. For what reason? I don't know. I just think
He's got pictures on him, I swear.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got pictures on old Finchy.
Yeah. So there's some questions there too, which we'll have to discuss at another time. But I don't disagree with you. I think last night when I was watching him, I'm just like, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it at all. So, all right, Io DeSumo, last thing. I think has been one of the best trades the Wolves have made in a little bit. I mean, there's been some good other good trades, but this one I feel has been efficient and has helped this team. I don't see them beating the Nuggets without Io DeSumo in that series either. So, Cole, the question to you is, will Io be a Timberwolf next season? What do you got?
I at the end of the day, I say yes. But there are a lot of things that can. He has played himself into a pretty hefty contract. So let me ask you this right now. If you had to choose between Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Io DeSumo, who do you think is more valuable?
Io.
No, Io.
So if the market agrees with you, Nickeil Alexander signed for 4 years, $62 million last year, about $15 million a year.
Mm-hmm.
As of right now, if you pick up Terrence Shannon Jr.'s team option, which you should, because it's $2.8 million and he played a big role, and you pick up Julian Phillips' team option at $2.4, you're sitting at about $190 million of salary cap taken up. The luxury tax is $201. The first apron is $210. Second apron, $223. So now you've got Bones Highland. You're probably going to want to re-sign. Let's say he signs for $4 million. Jalen Clark, let's say he signs for about $2.5, or roughly about the vet minimum or so.
Okay.
Kyle Anderson, about $2.5 too. You sign all those guys and you pick up the team options for those guys, you're up to about $200 million already. Keep in mind, luxury tax is $201, first apron is $210, second apron is $223. If you think that he signs for roughly about, let's say, $17 million, since he's considered better than Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you're already above the first apron and you're pushing awfully close to the second apron. And you only have 13 guys under contract. You need to find 2 more guys, and you have a first-round pick yet. That first-round pick is going to account for another about $2 to $3 million.
Yeah.
That is something to watch this offseason. You need to be very careful about that IO contract, and you need to get that under a good deal. And you also cannot have him walk out the door for nothing. You can't have made that deal, given up. Say what you want about Rob Dillingham. You took him top 10.
Yeah.
You made that commitment. You traded multiple second-round picks, which is the draft capital you still have left to trade. You made this move with the intent of keeping Io. You cannot let him walk out the door. So, he knows that. His agent knows that. Tim Connolly knows that. So you're going to have a very tough time fitting him in that window. I will say one thing. It is going to help him that pretty much every single team is above the salary cap, which means that at most they're going to be able to offer him the mid-level exception. And if they offer him the mid-level exception, that's roughly $15 million. There's 2 teams under the salary cap entering into next year. It's the Memphis Grizzlies and it's the Brooklyn Nets. I don't think he's going to want to go waste. I don't think he's going to want to go waste his career there.
No.
So that is one thing that helps you with that negotiation. But that is going to be an important thing to watch because that's also going to affect the Julius Randle trade down the line. It could affect, if the Giannis thing pops back up, you got to be careful about what kind of numbers you're giving to guys because you need good contracts to be able to trade. You need maneuverability. You're probably going to need to take back a little bit of money. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's not to overtalk this, but that IO contract is going to be very important in the offseason.
Yeah. Well, that's why they hired Conley, right? That's why they make some moves happen. I think he will, so I think we'll see that. But Cole, this was great. Thank you for joining us. I know people were waiting to have you here on this show, and now you are back on. Literally, people are going to be seeing this in, I don't know, 45 minutes or something, maybe an hour. Who knows? We'll see. But thanks for joining us, Cole. Go Wolves. Let's see what happens from here, and who knows? Maybe we're talking to you against OKC. We'll see.
It'd be great. It would be great. Thanks for having me, boys.
You know it. All right. Oh, hi. Yeah.
Hello there.
Voldy, what do we got?
3-0 Minnesota Wild. About 3.5 minutes to go in period number 1. A.J. McCarron's cousin, Michael McCarron, makes it a 3-0 contest out at Ball Arena in Denver. Hot start for the Minnesota Wild. Hot start.
Let's go. 3-0. That is, wow. Are they? Do you think they pull Blackwood in for Wedgwood or what? What do we think? I don't know.
Wouldn't be. I mean, let them play out the period, see what happens. I would say you'd probably replace him. I think so.
Wow, they're playing lights out right now. So we'll keep you updated. We got the breaking news thing ready to go. So, but
yes, sir.
Before we get into that, thank you to Cole Munson for joining us. Yes, that was good. Very good insight on the whole situation with the Wolves, and hopefully they can get things going here, extend the series, see what happens Game 7 if that happens, if it happens. But we appreciate him for coming on, chatting with us. And, it's been too long. So he can go enjoy a trivia night all he wants now. Anywho, ARA. We got a lot of ARAs coming your way tonight. Yes, one of them being in the National Basketball Association. The Bucks, they're still trying to find trades for Giannis. There's been a lot of teams that have been rumored, even
somehow
Minnesota Timberwolves. But we'll see. That won't be for a while. But hey, let's take a look at some possibilities. And then the next one that we have here, if it's gonna cooperate, there it goes. 5 to 7 teams to be bowl eligible now. Like, what are we? Like, what's with the bowls? Are we doing the bowls? Are we not doing the bowls? I don't know. So, we'll see. NFL international games. The slate has been set for those. we will discuss, look at some of the matchups. Vikings are a part of that as well. Then we have the NFL players. They're still wanting those grass fields. I think I agree with it. I think if it's better, let's make it happen. And the pwhl is expanding, people. It is getting more teams, more fun. We'll discuss. So, without further ado, I think we need to get going with some absurd or approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
It is time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, we start off in the world of the association, then being the National Basketball Association, as the Milwaukee Bucks are now fielding trade calls and offers for two-time MVP and NBA champion Giannis Antetokounmpo ahead of the NBA draft that is set to be coming up here in about 6 weeks' time. Draft Combine started here this week as well. But, of course, the run that the Bucks have had with Antetokounmpo in his time may or may not be coming to an end. Now, of course, the draft is coming up June 23rd and the 24th as well. So there is a timeline there. But of course, the trade talks have not cooled down over the last couple of seasons with the underperformance of the Milwaukee Bucks, now 5 years removed from winning an NBA title for the first time in 50 years. Of course, the big names that are of interest for these services for the Greek Freak themselves included a few teams that are still in the postseason and wanted to pick him up during the playoffs. I should say, pick him up during the trade deadline. Do include our Minnesota Timberwolves, the Cleveland Cavaliers, Boston Celtics, New York Knicks, and even the Los Angeles Lakers are just a few of those interested parties. Now, of course, the talks that have taken place between Antetokounmpo, the Bucks, and said teams as well. There are some suitors out there, but who's going to be the one to make that big move for Antetokounmpo if he does decide to part ways with Milwaukee? Is it absurd or approved? Will we see Giannis moved either by the end of the draft or the end of the calendar month of June?
Before we get into that, I just saw some news, and maybe you've already seen this. This isn't wild news, by the way. Just want to let you know here.
Okay, good.
I don't want to scare anybody. BYU star Jaren Hall retires from pro football at 28.
Oh!
Jaren Hall.
Wow.
Yeah. Gosh,
Okay.
that's... you just feel bad for the kid. I mean, honestly. He had that one drive in that Atlanta game, and he played.
Wow.
They scored, and it's just too bad. I just think it just didn't fit what
Crazy.
we were hoping it would. I mean, they were hoping to maybe develop him a little bit, and just So, but shout out to him. Congratulations, retiring from pro football. So, because he was with an UFL team, wasn't he? I thought so, unless I'm off on that.
Yeah, he was at the start of the season, but I guess that wasn't enough for him. So, or at least he wasn't performing up to the level to keep him on a roster, I guess.
Gotcha.
But a lot of quarterback moves with the UFL this year.
Yeah.
It's been kind of annoying, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Anyway, back to the Giannis thing. Look, I think the Bucks want to get this done as soon as possible. They want to be rid of this whole situation. Giannis doesn't want to be there. They don't want to keep dealing with this. They want to blow this thing all the way to hell. Mm-hmm. So I'll just start off by saying, or actually showing to stamp of approval. I think he is going to be moved before July. This this notion that this is going to be him staying with the Bucks is absurd because the relationship's already fractured. It's not that he doesn't love Milwaukee because he spent most of his career, all of his career, I should say, for with the Bucks, and it's not lining up to what he wants to do later on. But as for teams, there's so many. I mean, the list will go on here. I mean, just to name off the Lakers, the Warriors, the Heat, even the Timberwolves. I'm putting that out there. I already said the Warriors. God, I'm missing a team. Who else am I missing? I feel like the Sixers, maybe. I don't know if they have enough. If they want to trade Embiid, I don't know. I'm not going to say the Wolves right now because what I want to say is that, depending on how things shake out here towards the end of the season with the Timberwolves and whatnot, then maybe we can, figure out from there. But what I'm saying is that it's not out of the realm of possibility, is what I'm saying. The Knicks, I doubt. I think they already have a team that's pretty solid. But I hate to say it, but the Lakers are always going to be in the mix. I think Los Angeles Lakers are going to make a big push. I think the LeBron thing has kind of wore out its welcome a little bit. It wouldn't shock me to see LeBron go somewhere else just to kind of get out of the LA scene a little bit, or what could happen is that he goes to another team or he retires. Who knows? But yeah, I think I could see the Lakers making that big push. Now, a team to watch out for behind them is the Warriors. The Warriors are trying to get back to their championship ways. So I'm going to say the Lakers. I hate to say it, and I don't want to, but it's true. They're always going to be within those conversations. So it just sucks. So, all right. Stamp of approval. Voldy, what do you got?
I mean, I don't want it to be the Lakers either. The one downside, of course, with a few of these teams, like the Timberwolves and the Cavs too, and the Knicks especially, that they can't really talk to Giannis or his representation because their season is still going on. So these other teams that have interest, like Golden State, Miami as well, are certainly in conversations, or at least in the past they have been, do have a little bit of a leg up on the competition. But if I had to, the deadline being after the draft, sometime middle of the summer, I would say, will he be moved? I say absolutely. It's got my stamp of approval. But looking at a proper destination, I feel like Golden State might be in a situation where they're going to go all in. Of course, they did re-sign Steve Kerr to an extension. Curry, Draymond there as well. I mean, you only got a couple more years left in those guys before the wheels completely fall off. Why not bring in Antetokounmpo to really fill things out there? Of course, you're going to probably have to give up a couple of guys in the process, but they gotta finish off and bookend that back end of the dynasty for them for sure, to at least ride off into the sunset together with the crew that they've got there. I say Golden State definitely be someone to keep an eye out for sure. I don't think Miami just has enough capital in their arsenal to go after Antetokounmpo.
Yeah.
But then the Knicks are a very surprising one. I mean, they'd probably have to give up, I don't know, maybe OJ Anunoby, I think, would probably be a guy there that they'd probably have to part ways with. But, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising if the Knicks decide to make a serious play for him, too, especially the way they were hounding after him at the trade deadline, too.
Well, if Munson was in here, I would be ribbing him on, hey, if Tim Conley wants to make a splash right now, I bet you could try. You could try this offseason if you're really feeling it. I mean, like we said, too, with Munson, Voldy, they need a second option. They need a second option. And Randall, sorry, not living up to that. So, so this situation is going to go into the summer, but I think they're going to try to get this going once the season's at season's end, I should say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank God, by the way. I'm sick of it, to be honest. So, all right. Next one, Vode.
Heading to the world of college football, as the NCAA's Football Oversight Committee voted this past week to adopt a proposal that would allow conferences the flexibility to choose a 5-7 football team to meet certain academic standards to fill bowl game opportunities if they aren't enough of other deserving teams. Of course, this riding off the expansion of the college football playoff and possibly even further expansion from the current 12 teams out to 16, possibly even 24. And of course, teams deciding that they didn't make the college football playoff, they're actually going to forego bowl selection even after a successful regular season. Now, currently, if a 5-7 team needs to be selected to participate, those teams become available as alternates in descending order of their multi-year academic progress rate. Now, of course, the conference must choose a 5-7 team under this proposal to achieve at least a minimum 930 multi-year APR required to be eligible to participate in the postseason. Now, just because of, you had a almost good year on the football field doesn't mean that you can skid right by. You also have to fill, of course, in the rates of means, I should say, in the classroom as well. Now, of course, with the expansion of the college football playoff, Matt, and the bowl games getting more and more, I don't want to say watered down, but they just don't hold a lot of merit like they used to 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
Even when the college football playoff first came out, 2014 was the first college football playoff, like 2015 or something like that, when it was just the first, first was like the first 4 teams and something like that.
For sure.
You had, I was going to say, it was definitely, I think it was at least 2015. Just from that point, it started to get less and less about the bowl games, and especially the last, 3-4 years especially, and now going out from 12 teams and just how it has completely watered things down. Is it absurd or approved? Should there be less bowl games, even with the rise of the college football playoff, given the fact that now we're having to dive into 5-7 teams to be bowl eligible?
Well, I would say from this whole thing, we're seeing more and more teams bow out of bowl games. And you see the teams like, for example, Notre Dame. Notre Dame is a perfect example of this. They didn't make the college football playoff. They got salty. They said, we're not going to participate in the bowl game or anything like that. Honestly, it's ridiculous. Don't get me wrong. We debated.
Scumbag move.
Yeah. I mean, we debated about it not too long ago when it happened too, and we all said that it's dumb. We didn't make it, so we're not going to go to a bowl game. Whatever. I like the traditional bowl games, but they're getting a little bit ridiculous. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's just some of those games are good. I would say let's go 70% of those games are good. Some of the other times it's just like guys are bowing out for X amount of reasons. NFL draft. Or they're just like, this isn't worth it for me anymore or anything like that. I think they just have to whittle it down each year nowadays, because it's not drawing in viewers. The only viewers that it's really drawing in are the fans, and people are going to those games. Would I go to a bowl game? Yeah, I would. Sure. That'd be kind of fun. I mean, I'm not saying like completely obliterate it, but maybe there does need to be where if there's a team that's all upset and they're not going to have starters, go out there because they're preparing for the NFL draft or whatever, this game still means something, especially if you're a freshman, sophomore, and or junior, to prove your worth to the team. So, this is a kind of a light stamp of approval. If I could just do, oh wow, that did it on our real one instead. There we go. But there's the stamp of approval.
There we go.
So it's a very light one, Voldy. But I still kind of like bowl games. I don't know. They're just the fun of it. And, I know the Gophers have a great turnout whenever they're in a bowl game, too. So, it's a light stamp of approval. Voldy, what do you got?
I think, bowl games are always fun. I certainly do enjoy, obviously it could be a Tuesday in December at 2:00 in the afternoon. Hey, there's a college football game on. Like, oh, cool, sweet. Not able to watch it nowadays, but when you were in high school, you're in college, and like, there's not much on TV, winter break or something like that. Oh, look, it's Wyoming versus Georgia Tech, and they're playing in the Scooters Bowl in Frisco, Texas. Hey, I'll take that. Let's watch this. This will be fun, and just some of the fun that goes along with that. But sadly, the bowl games have just gotten a little bit less shine than we have used to see. Of course, obviously, the college football playoff, a lot more emphasis on that. And it kind of stinks for all these bowl games that used to have some matter of importance. Maybe some of the, the ones that are outside the Fiesta Bowl or the Orange Bowl, but like the Duke's Mayo Bowl has certainly brought a lot more life. The Pop-Tart Bowl, too, has certainly swung a whole bunch of new life into the bowl game scene. But like the Hawaii Bowl was always fun to watch. I mean, like the Alamo Bowl was always a good one, too, because you knew there was going to be 75-72 final score between a team from the Pac-12 and the Big 12, too, because you knew they were just going to be dropping back and letting it rip back in the day, too. I always enjoyed watching the Alamo Bowl for sure. But should there be less bowl games? I think it's absurd. I don't think there needs to be less bowl games. I think there just needs to be if you're bowl eligible, you shouldn't have an opportunity to bow out. Like, sorry that you are bowl eligible and you're not in the college football playoff. You have an obligation now to play a postseason game. And if you don't, well, there's going to be financial ramifications because of it. And, that's the unfortunate part about this, is that teams are now getting butthurt by the fact that they're not making the playoff. Notre Dame this past year, or, some other teams that were just kind of on the fringe, but they were going to need a lot of help. And now it's just like, all right, well, we're not in the playoff. Now we're going to smoke this, Notre Dame's going to play San Diego State. It's like, all right, we're going to beat San Diego State 85-3 just to prove, like, hey, you should have been in the playoff. Like, this is what you get. This is what happens.
No, it's it's well said. You brought up a good point, too, about that. And I like the fact that there's some substance to these bowl games, like you just said. And I think one of those things that is missing is all these other names. Now, to get it back on track, Voldy, let me know what you think of this.
Okay.
The MinneZona Bowl. We have it at U.S. Bank Stadium. we sell a bunch of merch, and whatever team's out there, we do the coin flip, and we just go. I mean, it's perfect.
We get Boise State versus West Virginia, and I would be all in for that.
Yeah. That would be awesome.
I love it.
That would be awesome.
The fact that US Bank Stadium doesn't host a bowl game to begin with is a crime against college football itself. Yes, I know, you're supposed to have, like, of course, postseason games, maybe a warmer climate type place. Like, if Yankee Stadium and Fenway Park can host bowl games, why the hell is US Bank Stadium not hosting a bowl game? Just saying. I'm just saying.
Well, you have a point, though, too, because these teams are playing their conference championship games at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, and Jerry World and all that. So where's love for U.S. Bank? Oh, no, Minnesota, too cold. Too cold. No one's going to want to go. Oh, they'll go. They'll go. Trust me. Yeah. You reminded me of something.
State still hosts a bowl game every year, the Idaho famous Potato Bowl.
Yeah, that's a great
an outdoor
bowl,
stadium in Idaho in December. Yeah, it's a great bowl game. I love that bowl game.
Yeah, that's perfect. But the one thing that I'll add, if your team makes it to a bowl game, you get free stuff. Like, why wouldn't you want? I saw the Gophers when they got a bowl game. They showed what each player got. Each player got an Xbox 360. How do you turn that down at that time? It was a little bit, farther down the line. But you don't turn the game system down. Money and stuff like that. Like, there's some worth to this. There is. So,
crazy.
Anyway, second period starting, I believe, Voldy for the Wild and the Lanche. We'll keep an eye on breaking news and everything. So, but other than that, next one, Voldy.
Yes, we head to the world of the NFL. Of course, the full NFL schedule set to be released tomorrow, and a lot of teams cooking up with their social media for their schedule releases. But the international slate of games has been released and will kick off, pun intended, their week 1 with the San Francisco 49ers taking on the LA Rams from Melbourne, Australia. That's right, first time the NFL will be heading to the land down under. Of course, this game, I believe, is set to take place. That's going to be taking place on a Thursday or Wednesday. Usually it's the Super Bowl champion that hosts the season opener and all that, but I believe that will be
the time difference is coming.
The time difference and all that will technically be, I believe, a Thursday for them over in Australia. Nonetheless, international slate will then pick up in week 3 as the Ravens and Cowboys will be playing in Rio, and then we'll get consistent enough NFL international games in London week 4 through 6, Colts, Commanders, Eagles, Jaguars, Texans, Jaguars. Week 7, the NFL in Paris will make its debut with the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the New Orleans Saints. Week 9, we'll have the Bengals and Falcons from Madrid. And then there will also be back in Munich, Patriots versus Lions. And then we wrap up the international schedule in Mexico City, our Minnesota Vikings taking on the San Francisco 49ers. Now, with this full slate of games that will be toppling on the international scale of activities, where do you see being the most interesting contest from the international slate of games?
Well, for one, I am very excited for the schedule release. I think last year it was on the show, and we kind of did a little thing for that, I believe, from there. But I'm kind of glad we have this because there's so many games that you'd have to get to. But from the looks of it, Voldy, I don't like a lot of them, to be honest with you. Besides the Niners-Rams, that's always a good one. You know what you're going to get from those two teams. Ravens-Cowboys, will the Cowboys maybe be a little bit better? Will the Ravens bounce back from an interesting season that they had as well? Yeah. Colts-Commanders, that has a potential to be okay. Eagles-Jaguars, that might be a snoozer. Texans-Jaguars, we'll see kind of how, and again, this is just based on what we've seen from the schedule, and there's a lot of time between then and now. But the game that keeps sticking out to me, Voldy, Patriots-Lions. Your Patriots and the Lions in Munich, I think, could be a very good game, especially down or over there in Germany. And I think that game has the potential to be good. And then the game before that, which I think is another interesting tidbit too, is the Bengals and Falcons in Madrid. Falcons are trying to kind of retool their team, and then you have the Bengals hopefully having a better defense than they had before. So there's there's a lot to consider. But Voldy, I will say that Patriots Lions one, and no, I'm not going to be biased and pick Vikings Niners, even though it's going to be a good game. I will say the Vikings have had the Niners number as of late. Just saying. So, that game will be good, and I'm glad the Vikings are not doing a back-to-back again. That was terrible. Do not have them play in Ireland and then have to go all the way to... They didn't like it either, and everybody knew they didn't like it. It's like they didn't want anything to do with it, and especially with everything that the injuries, Carson Wentz, the old line, and then barely beating the Browns in London. We're done with that. At least it's just over to Mexico. That's doable. That's okay. So no more back-to-backs. The Jaguars can do that. Not for us. So, I'll say, but Voldy, I'll say Lions-Patriots is the one I'm lining up the most. Real quick, Nick Dahlhoff says this. I'll bring it down here. Sorry. I'd like to officially announce the new popcorn bucket list ball. Yeah!
Huge.
Basically, you're not allowed to run a play until you answer a movie a trivia question correctly. That is a perfect one, Nick. That's great. And Ryne has to be the one that asked the question too. So
absolutely.
I just want to see see Ryne out there. So all right, Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, the middle portion of the international schedule is going to be quite interesting. Eagles, Jags, Texans, Jags, and then you've got Steelers, Saints making the debut over in Paris. It'll be quite interesting to see how the Parisian crowd plays to the NFL. I mean, yeah, the week one Niners Rams, you'd like to I mean, in a perfect world, you'd like to see that one be like week 5, week 6, when both teams got a little bit of momentum behind them. They know what their team is, or at least they have a good idea what their team is. So it can at least be somewhat of a good, competent game. Week 1, you're working out some rust, and obviously you get the jitters out for a lot of maybe young guys on the team too. So I mean, if I had to pick one game, I'm going to be biased. I'm definitely going to say Vikings, Niners. By that point of the season, you'd certainly hope both teams know what they're going with. I mean, the Niners are always a tough out for sure, especially with the squad that they have if they're fully healthy by that point of the season. And the Vikings could very well be on their way to a redemption type season, whether it be with Kyler Murray or JJ McCarthy at the starting help for them. But I'll go Vikings Niners there, week 11, to close things out with the international schedule and close it out with a bang there.
Not too far. They'll be able to, adjust fairly well. The one thing about these, Voldy, and I'm looking at the Rio de Janeiro one with the Ravens and the Cowboys, those fields have to be good because we saw what happened in Rio de Janeiro with the Eagles and the Packers, I believe, and guys were slipping, getting hurt left and right. Make sure the fields are NFL ready, because I'm telling you, if this continues, there's not going to be many teams going, overseas and whatnot. So hopefully they do that, but I think they will. So all right, next one, Voldy.
Well, speaking of fields at the international level, of course, now sticking with the NFL too, as while NFL players are going to have to watch some of their stadiums be transitioned from their current surfaces, whether it be turf or other natural grass surfaces, to actually new grass fields being installed for the upcoming FIFA World Cup hosted here in North America. Now it is bringing more and more light to attention that NFL players want to have the natural grass surfaces in their stadiums as opposed to turf. Now, over half of the NFL stadiums use some sort of artificial turf for the football games, and of course at the American football field, while players have been more vocal in recent years with the rise in knee injuries and other, of course, significant injuries that have happened on artificial turf surfaces. Now, of course, this has been a growing debate over the last handful of years. Some teams and organizations transitioning from, of course, their artificial turf to a more natural kind of semi-turf, semi-grass situation there, as opposed to the old artificial turf that has been prominent for quite some time. Of course, now with the FIFA World Cup taking over operations for a handful of stadiums and bringing their own grass fields to these said stadiums because it's more of a longer grass surface. Of course, we were just talking about there with the game down in Rio a couple years ago. There, it's because the reason why they were all sliding around. It's a longer grass surface that allows a lot more sliding as opposed to foot in the ground and being able to cut at a much more significant level with the shorter, probably evenly turf fields that American footballs used to be played on. But of course, now we've seen with the rise of injuries, and of course, in the current CBA, the current collective bargaining agreement that's in effect for at least 3 more years, and of course the concerns that have been raised by the Players Association over the last handful of years. Is it absurd or approved? Should more NFL stadiums begin the transition to natural grass surfaces?
Well, we've had this discussion too a couple times here on the show, and I think from what they've gathered and from what research that they found is that grass is much easier to play on and prevents less injury than artificial turf, which I do believe. And I'm not, you have to take the player's word for it, right? Is it more comfortable for them, and so on and so forth? I think you can make it so that some of those stadiums can do it. Now, I'm the last person that would know how to take care of turf or anything like that. But right. I think there's got to be a way to where it's all on a good level playing field, because we all know what happens when a field is not well kept. You want a good example? Look what's in Washington. And that's not to say with the current regime or anything. That's Dan Snyder's dumbass. But I think they need to kind of integrate this a little bit faster and a little bit more efficient here, because we're seeing a lot of injuries cost teams their season. And it's not due to the players, overexerting themselves. I just think it's a lot of these non-contact injuries are coming from artificial turf. So I think that is something they need to kind of keep an eye on and, determine. But, it's got my stamp of approval. I really think so. I think it's the best way to do this whole thing. And, we got 2 in there. Cool. So it's got my stamp of approval. I think they're going to eventually kind of do that. In what shape or form? I don't know. We'll see. So, Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, I think you see how the transition for a couple of stadiums, of course, the World Cup is installing these grass fields for MetLife, AT&T, Gillette, Lumen Field in Seattle there, NRG Stadium, as well as SoFi and Mercedes-Benz are all using some sort of turf, but they will have the natural grass for this summer. Now, I wonder how this will play out for these fields and the teams and organizations, or those that actually own the stadiums too, if they would take into consideration, well, maybe we just look into maybe transitioning. How do we keep it up? The preparation, upkeep through the off season, and keeping that well prepared, because obviously a lot of these stadiums used outside of the football season for other ventures as well. how does that play out? I know a few of these stadiums too, like Gillette is home to an MLS team, I believe. Lumen Field also hosts.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
believe the Sounders still play there. Houston. I mean, SoFi has a bunch of events. Mercedes-Benz too. I wonder if they still use the artificial turf for MLS or other soccer events that take place there too. I don't see why you can't at least start the transition, or at least start looking into, okay, how do we make this a feasible option throughout the whole season. Of course, like in Arizona, they've got their field and they just roll it in, roll it out, so that way it can get some sunlight, gets natural weather, and then when it's ready to go, they just roll it right back in. How do we get that transition for each of the stadiums that does currently have, of course, a turf surface, to get that much more, a much more friendly option for players that, obviously they can still be, productive, but at the same time have a little bit more safety to their side too for the long run of their careers.
Yep. No, I think we're both in agreement on that. So, still 3-0, I believe. Last time I checked for the Wild.
Yes.
So, just wanted to keep you guys informed on that. All right. Last one, Voldy.
Well, the growth of the women's game in professional hockey is continuing as the PWHL announced earlier today that they are bringing women's pro hockey to different markets. They're heading to Las Vegas and Hamilton, Ontario, as this will be part of the addition for the team that is doubling in size since the maiden voyage back just over 2 seasons ago. Now, the Vegas team was formally announced at a news conference at the Vegas Golden Knights home arena earlier today, while Hamilton will have their own press conference coming up on Thursday. Now, this comes off of last week that the process of adding the PWHL in Detroit will be taking place, of course, in the following season. Now, with other teams being added to the likes of them, of course, with Seattle, Vancouver as well, that have been placed into there for the upcoming seasons for the PWHL, growing from their initial teams and going further. Is it absurd or proof, of course, with the growth of women's hockey and how it has been quite successful? Of course, back-to-back Walter Cup champion, the Minnesota Frost, unfortunately, not so much getting their chance to go for the three-peat. Is it absurd or proof? Will one of these two teams, that being Vegas or Hamilton, will they have their chance to win a Walter Cup within the first 5 years of their existence?
Well, the Frost are still around, so I don't think they have a shot. I'm kidding. But, yeah, like you said, Voldy, too, when we were doing the whole Minnesota sports thing for Infinity Rankings, I think somebody mentioned something about the Frost, and I offer my apologies. I didn't. I kept forgetting the Frosts were in. They had a great series. Unfortunately, like you just said, they lost.
Yeah.
But at the same time, too, we're very, very happy. And I said, look, the women are kicking the men's ass in championships right now in Minnesota. So we got to step up our game. So got to, figure something out. But anyway, in regards to the two teams, first of all, claps out for them to expand, because they're at 12 now. They're at 14, right? That sounds right. Or
yeah.
Am I? Okay. Yeah. So, there's a lot of more eyes on these games, and there's been a great number of people I felt have gone to the Frost games, and not only those games, but other teams as well. We've seen, I just feel like Vegas has something about it to where they're able to have top teams there do quite well within a short time. So I would say the one team that I would say, it would probably be Vegas. I would pick Vegas in this instance. Not saying that Hamilton can't do that by any means, because, we don't know. But Just there's something about Vegas that just makes sense, and they kind of know, what type of team they want to put together. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll go with Vegas, Voldy. I'll say Vegas will be the most likely team to win a Walter Cup in the first 5 years. So
Absolutely.
we'll see. So Voldy, what do you?
Yeah,
got?
Vegas has certainly done its part, of course, since bringing the Golden Knights into the NHL since 2017. Girls and women's hockey in the Vegas area has grown by 600%, and that is definitely an underserved market that was previously since they've come in. Of course, their first season in Vegas, Golden Knights, making it to the Stanley Cup final, and of course, previously winning a Stanley Cup in the last couple of years. Of course, that being done at that level. Of course, the likes of the Vegas Aces, the Raiders have been, well, the Raiders, but certainly have not been lost on. Of course, the addition of the Las Vegas baseball team, whatever they're going to be called here in the next few years, that will certainly bring a lot more attention to them too. But purely speaking from the point, of course, from the hockey side of things, I think Vegas definitely be set up in a much better position too. Proper ownership, most likely, and of course, just having the means around them too. Nothing against Hamilton, Ontario. Don't know the area well enough to know whether they are going to be suitable enough. But of course, being from the region itself, there are certainly a bevy of players that have hailed from the Hamilton, Ontario area. Of course, it being Canada too. Two other teams in the Ontario province that obviously are part of the PWHL will certainly make there'll be good hockey to be played here for the next handful of years, at least once they get up and running too. But I think Vegas will be in a much better position, maybe right off the bat there to maybe draw some attention, if not go after a Walter Cup right off the chute.
Exhale right there. The Avs did score. It is still 3-1. It's all right. It's all right, guys.
All right, fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. We're fine. We're fine.
It's fine.
Apparently, Brett Burns shot tipped in by Kelly, so Wild still lead 3-1. Again, it's hard to shut a team like them out. So I mean, but hopefully, fingers crossed. Don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but hey, it was kind of bound at that point. So, all right, great job with ARA this time around, Voldy, and we got to get to some Shield shoutouts tonight, and if we have any more updates, we will let you know too. So, I say we get it going with some Shield shoutouts.
Shield shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who ya shout out tonight?
Well, a little bit of a somber start here for Shield shoutouts, but sadly, rest in peace here to Grizzlies forward brandonclarke as he sadly passed away yesterday at the tender age of 29, being one of the longest tenured players currently with the Memphis Grizzlies. There, sadly passed away at the age of 29. And also yesterday, a member of the NBA family, jasoncollins, who at the point of his career was the first openly gay basketball player, and sadly passed away after announcing some time ago that he was suffering from brain cancer. 47 years old, jasoncollins did pass away. But in much lighter news, a Shield shout out going out to Adrianpeterson, being announced as a member of the Vikings Ring of Honors, will be honored at US Bank Stadium coming up here this season as well. And hopefully it'll certainly be quite the turnout coming up there for AP, and of course in a rightful place with the Minnesota Vikings. Now we can certainly hope with him being inducted into the Ring of Honor, maybe, just maybe, we can finally get him to sign that one-day contract to retire Minnesota Viking.
Hell yeah!
And that's going to do it for Shield shoutouts this week.
You like that? You like that?
Yes, I do like that a lot. Adrian, I love how they did it. Johnny Randall, kind of going behind the scenes there for him because he was there. Oh, you can talk to young guys, whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, you going into the Ring of Honor, my friend. But you're so right on. Yeah, let's get that one-day contract figured out. Viking for life. Because I don't know if he's officially retired yet. So I don't.
No, he's not.
I don't know how that all is going to, deal. Maybe he's already planning it. I don't know. But Adrian is probably one of my top favorite Vikings of all time. Just how good he was during his time. And, we'll get more into that. But congratulations to him. And, yes, my sympathies to the families, to brandonclarke, jasoncollins as well. Just tragic, especially cancer. Definitely know all about that too. So yeah. But anywho, great job with shield shoutouts this time around, Voldy, as always. And still 3-1, 6:52 left here in the second period. So buckle up. That's all I can really say here. So. Before we do our normal stuff, claps out to, yes, Cole Munson. Hopped on the show. He made time. We know he's got trivia on Wednesday nights with his lovely wife, Alyssa, so we understand. We gotta respect it and everything like that. So I don't want anyone complaining about how, you can't get Buddy Munson on. You can't get Buddy. Well, we made it happen. Okay, we made it happen. So stop crying. We did it. So congrats, thank you to Cole Munson for hopping on. And you know what Cole Munson has though too, Voldy? He's got merch.
What's that?
And guess what?
Yeah, he does.
We got merch too. So we got the hats. You can see. Hey, look, I want to support the Wolves. I want to see what's going on with the Wolves. Well, hey, guess what? I got a hat for you that you can check out there.
Boom.
And then, not only that, but we got other hats as well. Take a look.
Hey.
Yes, Gophers. Wild. Yeah, if you're repping the Wild one, wear it right now. Vikings. And the secondary Vikings one. We've got those.
Yes, sir.
We've got the OG hats. We got the 5-year anniversary hats. We've got plenty of stuff. The sweatpants, the stickers, just everything. Winter caps. As well. So if you guys want them, let us know. Thank you to National Fleet Graphic for the stickers. And shout out to our guy, Will Rattel, W2 Performance, www.w2performance.com. Make sure you check out our guy. I think he had a new video up that's already has a lot of views. No shocker there. So shout out to our guy, Will Rattel. And shout out to Smiles for Jake softball team. Voldy, your team. We are a proud sponsor of those guys. Keep it going and kick some butt in softball. We love it. TLS Performance, our guy, Troy Stoudemire Jr. Just saw a post from him not too long ago as well, so he's doing quite well. Wearing his Gopher gear, by the way, I might add, so shout out to our guy there. And make sure you check out the Popcorn Bucket List, who now officially has a Popcorn Bucket List college football bowl, by the way. Yeah!
Heyo!
I don't know if people actually believe it.
But that's fine.
Shh, I shouldn't have said anything. Popcorn Bucket List, Nick Dahlhoff, and Ryne Myhrberg as well, our guys over at Omni Entertainment, YouTube, socials medias. Make sure you check out our guys. So, yeah, that's going to do it for episode 284. You guys have been great during this whole game with the Wild. I mean, we've given you updates. We've talked Wolves. We talked ARA, great ARAs. We talked, just a whole slew of stuff. So thanks for tuning in tonight. This was a lot of fun. We're going to watch the rest of this Wild game in the Avs. Let's bring it back, baby. Let's bring it back to St. Paul. We can do it. We can do it. Just have faith. Have faith. So we'll see what happens. But without further ado, as always, remember, folks, how does it go? Oh, yeah. Keep in the zone.
Allah.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.